Hi everyone, Ryan here from Fight Game Analysis, and today we are talking about the upcoming fight between Thiago Santos and Johnny Walker. But before we jump into that, if you're enjoying the content, please go ahead and click on the like button and also subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate your support. Alright, so we've got a big fight coming up here between Thiago Santos and Johnny Walker. Now personally, this is one I'm really interested in seeing. I'm a big fan of both of these guys. Both of them have put on amazing performances in the past, and they're actually at similar points in their career when you sit down and think about it. Now, on the one hand, you look at Johnny Walker. He comes onto the scene, amazing finishes. He's coming out there, he's finishing Roundtree, Ledet, Serkinov. First round stoppages. Just going out there and blowing the doors off guys. He's doing so good in those performances that we start to talk about him fighting Jon Jones. We start to talk about him challenging for the title. Thiago Santos, same type of thing. Moves up to the light heavyweight division, starts getting impressive performances. Eric Anders, big stoppage against Jimmy Manuwa. Goes out there, gets a very impressive stoppage against the current champ, Jan Blachowicz. And then he gets his title shot against Jon Jones. So at one point, both of these men in their career were incredibly hyped up, turning in incredibly impressive performances. Went out there, Thiago Santos challenges for the belt against Jon Jones. Actually gave him the first round in that fight. Looked really good. Ends up getting the knee injuries. Doesn't come out with the victory. Ends up losing that one. Johnny Walker. Hype's going great. Really impressive performances. We talk about him challenging for the belt. He's got this fight scheduled with Corey Anderson. And we talk about him challenging for the belt. Almost like we were overlooking Corey Anderson, right? Jon Jones even replied to it, which you typically don't see all the time from a champion. There's a lot of hype, a lot of buildup around contenders, but that doesn't always mean you see the champion reply. But in that one we did. Jon Jones came out, man, it was funny. He comes out and he said, yeah, Johnny Walker looks good. Yeah, Johnny Walker looks really impressive against these guys. But look who he's fighting. I would look just as impressive or more impressive if you gave me those same caliber opponents. But I've been fighting nothing but world-class guys, the absolute top of the food chain, king of the mountain type opponents for a long time now. Let's see what happens if Johnny Walker gets somebody like that. And then in the very next fight, we see Corey Anderson go out there and just blow up. He blows up the Johnny Walker hype train. Lands a big overhand right, gets him out of there fast. I mean, it happens. Everybody can get caught from time to time, particularly early in a fight. Nothing to get all super worried about. But then Johnny Walker goes out for his next fight against Nikita Krylov. Doesn't go good for him there. Ends up getting hit with another big overhand right, then gets just taken down and pounded on. Loses the fight. It's like now you're starting to see a pattern. Now you're starting to see a flaw in the man's game. He's either coming out and getting these impressive early stoppages or he's getting done. And the other thing about that Krylov fight is he looked gassed after the first round, which kind of goes into his big, strong, super athletic, super explosive style. A lot of times those guys will have trouble with cardio. Then he comes out in his last fight that we've seen him in against Ryan Spann. And again, he's out there getting caught with big shots. Ryan Spann drops him twice. Now eventually Johnny Walker's able to get the finish. Great, good for him. But let's not overlook how he looked in that fight. I mean, Johnny Walker is a guy who's big for the division. Strong, explosive, fast, like big athletic movements, whether they're flying knees, big punches, whatever it may be, man. He knows how to close distance. He knows how to go out there and look very impressive in his wins. But how does he look when he's not able to execute like that? How does he look when a guy's able to throw something back at him? How does he look when he's on the defensive or when it goes past the first round? Not very impressive. He looks gassed if he doesn't get this early finish like we've seen. We've seen he's at the very least, we've got the flaw, a huge flaw. Last three opponents have all caught him with overhand rights and dropped him. A couple of them finished him. Then we look over at Thiago Santos. Now, Thiago Santos is a much more complete fighter. You look at what he was doing on his way up. He finished Jimmy Manuwa. He finished Jan Blachowicz. Those are much more impressive names to have on your resume than what we've got with Johnny Walker on his come up. He also looked really good against Jon Jones, man. I think people forget how impressive he looked, particularly in that first round before he caught that knee injury. Thiago Santos has some nasty kicks. When he goes out there and starts chopping at your leg, man, it's not a good day. Man, he goes out there and he hurts dudes with those leg kicks. He was hurting Jan Blachowicz. He was hurting Thiago. He was hurting Jon Jones. Now, after that Jon Jones fight, it was a little bit different. Goes out there against Glover Teixeira, and I'll admit, looked super impressive at first. Landed some big shots, good combinations, just hard, clean punches, man. He's fast. He's crisp. One of the things that I like about him is he's also a fighter who's really explosive. He's also a fighter who's really athletic, very powerful. But he's got a lot of technical skill. You don't see him get overextended with his punches. You don't see him explode and then get off balance. He still maintains a very high technical skill level while utilizing the athletic ability that he has. Now, eventually Glover was able to get him down in that fight, pound on him, get him out of there. Glover's a black belt at the highest level, man. So when he gets you down, he starts pounding on you. Dude, he looks like a brick house when he's on top of guys in that full mount. Like they just have no answer for him. No matter how skilled they are, no matter what they bring to the table, Glover Teixeira gets you on your back. He gets on top of you. It's not a good day at the office. So he ended up getting him out of there. Ended up getting the rear naked choke out of him. All in all, that wouldn't have been that big of a deal. Glover does that to a lot of guys. But then we see Thiago Santos in his fight with Alexander Rakic. And that was something that was a little bit concerning. Not so much that he lost the fight. Rakic is very talented. No shame in that one. But it was the fact that he looked slow. His footwork looked gone. Looked like he had no explosion. And you got to wonder, what is this because of those knee injuries that he suffered in that Jon Jones fight? Is this because of those knee surgeries? He's coming back and all of a sudden he's just lost a step. That's it. It's gone. I mean, he's in his upper 30s now. You don't bounce back from things like that quite like you used to when you were younger. And I'll tell you what, if Thiago Santos can't explode, if he can't close the distance, if he can't use that athleticism, he's not nearly the same level of fighter. Now, I'll be the first to admit, him losing that isn't the same as if Johnny Walker lost it, because I believe Thiago Santos is actually a lot more skilled when you look at it technically. He can stand in front of you and he can work behind a jab. He's got nasty low kicks. He's got good timing. He knows how to counter. We saw that against Glover. We saw that against Jimmy Manuwa. We saw that in those fights, that he was able to land good counter shots. He was able to step up back. He was able to understand small circling and distances. He's good like that. I don't give those to Johnny Walker. I don't think Johnny Walker has the same skill level that you see out of Thiago Santos. But if he doesn't have the explosion, he's not even going to be the same with his technical skills. So much of his game is built off of being athletic and strong and explosive. He's just not the same guy out there. And after what we saw in that fight with Alexander Rakic, I don't know if that was a one-off or if he's going to come out in this next fight and look exactly the same. I mean, you could tell that he wanted to do more. You could tell that he was used to his body responding differently. He was trying to explode and close the distance. He couldn't, and he actually started to get off balance. He actually started to get out of position because he was reaching for his shots. Normally, your feet get you in place. Normally, it's your footwork that gets you to the position that you need to be in to land your shots. If your footwork isn't there, that means you got to lean. And if you're leaning, you're going to be out of position. You're going to be off balance. Beautiful opportunity for your opponent to counter and just take your head off. But that's not what Thiago Santos was built on. He's usually got the good footwork. He's got fast feet, particularly for the light heavyweight division. But that's not what we saw in his last fight, and I just don't know if that was the one-off and we're going to see him back to his normal self in this fight or not. This is going to be the third fight that he had since that layoff. I don't know. I got to be honest with you. It's hard to go with a man in the fight after not seeing an impressive performance in his last one. If he's stationary, if he doesn't have the ability to move, if he doesn't have the ability to be explosive, could very well leave him as just a sitting duck for the kind of explosive, athletic movements that we see out of a guy like Johnny Walker. And it pains me. And it pains me because I think Thiago Santos is technically the more talented fighter here. Under normal circumstances, I would absolutely be taking him. but I just can't. I'm going to have to go with the underdog on this one. I'm going to have to take Johnny Walker, and it's all going to be because of the fact that I just don't think Thiago Santos has the movement that he used to have. I just don't think that he can get around the octagon the way that we're used to seeing him. Without that, he's just not the same fighter. So he's probably going to go out there and land some big shots, man. He is fast. He's crisp. He's got good hands. But I think that if he's stationary, that we're going to end up being able to see Johnny Walker pull out some kind of big movement, pull out something explosive, athletic, and end up going out there. And the other thing is, I don't think Johnny Walker can win by decision. Don't necessarily think he wants to, but 5 rounds, man, I bet you that it would feel like forever for that man to fight. That's what this is scheduled for as a main event. That's typically not what we see out of him. Usually he's a first round one and done type guy. We did see him in there for 3 rounds once, but that man doesn't believe in overtime. He fights like he's double parked in front of the casino. He's going in there to get it done quickly. And I think that for him to get it done against Thiago Santos, it's going to have to be the same thing. I don't like his cardio. If this fight ends up going 3, 4, 5 rounds, I think that definitely plays into Thiago Santos' hands. But I'm going with Johnny Walker by this one. Big, explosive, athletic movements. Think he's going to go out there and find a way to get it done. So let me know what you guys think. You feeling the same way about it? Is Thiago Santos moving like his feet are in mud lately? Or is he actually going to come back? He's going to find a way to get it done. He just needed a little bit more time to rehab, and we're going to see that technical superiority that he has shine. Let me know what you guys think.